Hello, fellow plant people. Welcome back if you are returning to my channel. If you are new, my name is Jen and I go by The Leafy Geek here and also on Instagram. And today I want to do a quick little plant video. Houseplants, that is. And I would like to share with you some things I've learned about the family Gesneriaceae. If you are a collector, then you already know this, but if you are new to this family like I am, you're going to learn that this is a huge, diverse family of plants. Just incredible botanical diversity within this family alone. So this is a family of plants that host the African violet. That's a very, very known species or variety of this particular group of plants, the Gesneriaceae. So this plant family is so much broader than the African violets. And while that particular group, or subgroup I should say, is diverse in and of itself, you're looking at hundreds of different genera within the single family. So the family itself is divided up quite thoroughly, and I think probably right now this is the best point to do a little bit of taxonomy. So let's have a little taxonomy lesson here with your host, Professor Leafy, and we will kind of go over some of the breakdown of this family, and really in the context of the species of plants in this family that I have in my collection. So what we're going to be looking at is on this wall. Made a little map for you. So let's just take a look and kind of walk through what I'm going to be showing you tonight, and then we'll kind of get into the close-ups of what I have on this table, because I'm pretty new to collecting out of this plant family, but the types that I'm drawn to are kind of in one specific branch of this family tree of the Gesneriaceae. So let's take a closer look at the taxonomy, and then we'll take a closer look at the plants. Welcome to your guided post-it note tour of the plant family Gesneriaceae. This plant family is generally divided up into two subfamilies of plants based on their geography: Old World and New World. The Old World subfamily Didymocarpoideae contains plants that are found throughout Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. There are two tribes within this subfamily, and the one I want to talk about primarily is Trichosporiae. There are around 60 to 65 different genera in tribe Trichosporiae, and I own specimens from this tribe, particularly the genus Ascananthus. Over on the New World side of the world, we have the subfamily Gesneriaceae. These plants are found in Central and South America. There are 5 tribes within this particular subfamily, and the one we're focusing on today is Gesneriaceae. All these names sound so much the same. There are almost 60 genera in tribe Gesneriaceae. The reason we're focusing on this one is because I own specimens from this tribe: Codonanth and Nematanthus. But there are so many more corners and branches of this plant family to explore. Okay, so now that we've kind of gone over the breakdown, and again, there are so many more genera and species to look up and learn about in this family. So I highly recommend you take that deep dive and learn as much as you can about this really fascinating family of plants, and I can guarantee you that I'm going to be studying up and learning a little bit more about some of the other wonderful varieties of this family of plants. But what I think I'm going to do is just start with my collection, and I'll show you the smallest little Gesneriaceae in my collection here. This is a member of the genus Nematanthus, and that is the goldfish plant genus. So they're known as goldfish plants. This one is a hybrid variety. It's known as the black goldfish plant. These little guys are endemic to Brazil, so you can only find them in the state of Brazil in South America. There are right around 30 identified species of Nematanthus out in nature. So this one's just a really cool little, it has not flowered for me yet. It's still very, very small. But the leaves are this really deep kind of greeny brown black color. And the undersides have kind of a purple black hue to them. So kind of lives up to its name in that regard. I'd be really interested to see what the blooms are going to look like on this. So it's got new growth on it. That's a good sign. It's just very, very small. Very cute. So this is my Nematanthus hybrid, known as the black gold. So next up, I should probably show you this one, I think, before we get into these cool dangly-doos. Let's talk about this dangly-doo for a second. So this is my other kind of solo representative of its genus. This is a cotonanth. So cotonanth, as you may remember from our conversation here, is also a member of the tribe Gesneriaceae. So this is considered a New World Gesneriad, along with the Nematanthus. So these are the ones that are found in Central and South America. Cotonanth is kind of an interesting one. This plant has taken me quite a bit of time to learn. I can't remember precisely when I got it, but I feel like it's been a good 6 to 8 months, if not a little bit longer, since I've had this in my collection. And it's tested me, that is for sure. I've really struggled to learn this plant. But I think I've finally figured out something because it is on the rebound. It had a pretty steady decline when it came into my home. I just couldn't figure out what it wanted in terms of light. I definitely think that it is one of those plants that does a little bit better when it's consistently watered. So making sure the soil doesn't dry out has been important. I used to have it in this room. This is my plant room, under these grow lights with these other, members of the same family, but it was not happy in here, in contrast to these other plants. This one had consistent leaf drop, and I couldn't figure it out because I thought I was watering as required. And so I decided to move it. It now lives in a north-facing window in my home. Gets a little bit of ambient light from my aspect grow light that's just adjacent to it, but it definitely does not get, the full strength of the light. Even though in this room, it was probably a good 4 to 5 feet below the light. It's not like it's right up under it. But it would still drop leaves like no tomorrow. So finally starting to grow back, and there's new growth on it, so like new shoots here, which is really promising to see. And I really haven't had to clean up leaves from it too much lately, so I think we're on the rebound. Slowly kind of figuring it out, but it was touch and go for a little bit. But it's a really interesting plant. These are epiphytic. They grow in trees. They're endemic to Brazil and Guyana in Central America. And they're also, I should say they're endemic to Brazil and Guyana in South America. And then also kind of covers the span of Central America. And they're also found in the West Indies or the Caribbean. Another kind of interesting feature of the Codonanth genus is that a lot of these species have a symbiotic relationship with ants in nature. So that natural partnership between plant and insect, that's beneficial for both parties. So that's kind of an interesting fact about this particular plant. This one is a Codonanth cordifolia is the species. And it is one of approximately 12 species in this particular genus. So this is Codonanth cordifolia. Now that it's getting better, it's a lot stressful and it's really quite an enjoyable plant. Can't wait to see what these vines do once they flesh out a little bit. Okay, now we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to move from the New World to the Old World in terms of the Gesneriads, in my collection at any rate. So I have a few species of one particular genus that lives in the tribe Trichosporiae. And that particular tribe, as you might remember from our handy-dandy little flow chart right here, that particular tribe is one of two in the Old World subfamily of Gesneriaceae. So that is the Didymocarpoideae subfamily. Nailed it. I don't want to say that again. But in any rate, the species or the genera in the tribe Trichosporiae that I have in my collection are quite common to find in really any plant collector's collection. This is the genus Ascananthus. And as you can see, I've got one here that's living up to its common name, the lipstick plant. So that's pretty cool to see this in bloom. See if I can get it to focus on the plant instead of on other things here. But yeah, so this one's pretty cool. It's in bloom. It's got a really neat flower. So this one is the Ascananthus radicans. It's a pretty common variety. Ascananthus, they're usually epiphytic, similar to the Codonanth. And they, again, are old world plants, so they're found predominantly in, I believe, Asia and the Pacific Island area, from what I understand. Similar to the others in my collection. I think that's why I'm drawn to these, is because they're not, I don't know, they remind me a little bit of Hoya in the way that they kind of drape all over the place, and they have this growth habit with these really, pronounced vines. I think that's something that I really like about these plants. But this one in particular, it's just the blooms that are so cool to me. They're just these, these little buds that form, these darker kind of maroon buds, and then this secondary flower emerges. That's this beautiful kind of bright reddish orange color, and it kind of opens up. It looks like an alien. It looks like it has these weird little teeth. I don't know. It's just such a cool plant. This is about as unscientific as you can get in terms of the parts of the flower and everything. But I really enjoy Ascananthus. Just mainly for their growth habit and also for the blooms. And they're quite easy. They're quite easy to grow. This one is doing fairly well, vining out a little bit. All of these are pretty thirsty. You'll see I have quite a few wrinkled leaves on here. So Ascananthus, there's about 150 species total in this particular genus. As I mentioned, they're usually epiphytic, and their common name is in reference to their flower. So this one is the radicans. This one has not flowered for me yet. It's a smaller variety. This is known as Ascananthus obconicus, or the Mona Lisa basket vine. So I'll be interested to see what the blooms look like on this one when it gets a little bit more established. And then this one is really interesting because it really looks nothing like my other lipstick plants in my collection. I've not seen this one bloom yet either. This is known as Ascananthus gracilis, or also the red elf vine. I really think that's a cute little name, and I hope the name kind of hints at what the flowers might look like. I think that could be really cute, but this one's doing quite well. It looks a lot like a Dischidia, in my opinion anyway, just the growth habit. It has these really cool drapey, you know, succulent leaves, very, very succulent leaves on this one. Just kind of drapes all over the place. Just a really healthy plant. Basically right under this grow light, this is pretty much their setup right here. And yeah, I water when the soil, the top, you know, inch or so of the soil feels dry to the touch. And they get pretty good afternoon sun in here. So the grow light shuts off usually right around 1 or 2 when the southwest aspect light starts coming into this room. It just floods it with this really awesome natural light. My Hoyas love it in here, so the lipstick vines do too. Okay, there's one other lipstick plant I want to show you. This is another Ascananthus in my collection. However, it is not in this room because it certainly does have thrips on it. So it is in quarantine. It is nowhere near any of my other plants right now, but I still want to show it to you because it's doing okay. It looks pretty good, but sadness. So this sad little plant, it's actually growing quite well up top, but there were definitely thrip babies on these leaves. You can see it's a little bit discolored, and there's definitely some chew marks on the undersides of the leaves there. She is blooming though. This is also known as the Black Pagoda lipstick plant. So you can see the undersides of these leaves are just beautiful in their coloration. So hopefully I can rescue this guy from the throes of its thrip attack here, but all in good time. It's just a really cool plant. So that again is my Black Pagoda lipstick plant, also known as Ascananthus longicalis. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to put down in the comments what your favorite member of the Gesneriad plant family is, what your favorite Gesneriads that you have in your collection are, that'd be great. I'd love to hear and learn more about this awesome, incredibly diverse family of plants. So please feel free to comment down below. Go ahead and like or subscribe if you like what you see. I'm going to try and do more plant content. My garden stuff is kind of hitting that midsummer lull, so nothing really new to report on that front. So I'm really hoping to do more houseplant content for you guys. And let me know if you like this kind of, you know, family or genus introduction and kind of taking a look at the taxonomy, because that stuff is really interesting to me. I really enjoy kind of studying the order of things, especially when it involves plants that I'm excited about or plants in my collection that I'm starting to grow in my collection. So yeah, let me know how you feel about those types of videos. So until next time, please enjoy your plants.